He was only 16, he stole a pair of shoes. Officer said, boy, you gotta choose between a life of crime and doing the right thing. The judge looked down upon his face, said, we gotta get you out of this place. It's time for a new start in the CCC. Hi, my name is Bill Jamerson. I do middle and high school assemblies on the Civilian Conservation Corps. This was a work program in the 1930s. Many of your great-grandparents worked in the program, over 3 million across the nation. They built our state parks, they planted forests, they fought forest fires, they built roads. It took these unemployed young men, paid them $1 a day, and put them in work camps run by the Army. I have met hundreds of these fellows over the last 20 years, and they say it was the best year of my life. They say it turned me from a boy to a man. Now, schools have many choices for assemblies. There are comedians, sports heroes, hypnotists, a wide variety, and they all have the same message. Work hard, don't give up, take a lot of pride in your work. Just what I tell them as well. Why would you choose history? The reason is all those other assemblies are talking from the first person about their experience. I'm talking about the students' great-grandfathers. I'm drawing that emotional connection. And we all like to hear stories about our family. It's a natural thing. And oral history has always been a way to share stories and to teach future generations. But we've lost that in this generation. We live in a high-tech world, and a lot of people are not connected. A lot of young people don't quite understand what's required of them, what their forefathers went through. And that's what I try to impress on them. I wrote a novel about a young man, 16-year-old. He stole a pair of shoes. He owned one pair of shoes. They fell apart. He taped them, he glued them, they still fell apart. And when he stole the shoes, he was caught by a police officer, given the chance to go into the CCCs. They paid him $1 a day. $25 was sent home to their families. And that's why they stuck it out. They wanted to help their brothers and sisters. In my book, and this is based on a true story, I tell how he walked into the bunkhouse one day. There was his friend, Jose, a Mexican youth, was sitting on his bed crying. And he said, Jose, why are you crying for? And he sniffled emotion. You want me to pick up the letter? He picked up the letter. It says, Dear Jose, we're so proud of you and the fine job you're doing. Your last paycheck helped us buy lots of food, like beans, cornmeal, and sugar. The pantry is so full you wouldn't recognize it. Mama spends a lot of time in the kitchen singing. She's so happy. There was enough money left over from your check to buy Josefina, your sister, a new Easter dress, a pair of shoes, and an Easter bonnet. I wish you could have seen how pretty she looked at church. Then just to move ahead, he says, I know why you're so unhappy. There wasn't enough money for your parents to buy anything nice for themselves. Jose bit his lower lip and nodded. These are the heartfelt stories I share with your students. Stories of struggle and sacrifice. How they helped people in need, how they thought of others. And these stories resonate with young people because they're stories about teenagers. And they love these stories. I share stories from my book. I sing a couple songs. For the high school students, I bring them up on stage, so there's a lot of interaction. One of the stories that really resonates with the students is how a young man was punished. And his punishment was moving a pile of stove wood, one log at a time, 100 feet. One piece of wood, he walked over, put it down. And the sergeant stood there for 3 hours watching him go back and forth. When he was all done, the sergeant said, why do you punish me? And by the end of the program, they understand that what turned these young men around was good food, 8 hours of sleep, a routine, good role models, self-esteem. Those ingredients turned these young men who had lost faith in themselves into men. And the same values apply to today. At the end of the program, I turn to the students and I say, we don't have CCC camps today, we have high school. This is your chance to develop good work habits, to take responsibility for your actions, to be mature, to have experience delayed reward, and to take pride in what you do. And students love these programs because they're about teenagers and helps them understand who they are, what their roots are. And I make it very clear to them, they're made of the same stuff as their great-grandparents, so they don't give up. And they do work hard and take pride in what they do.